Good morning. Welcome to Pike Creek Farm. Thank you for stopping in. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad you stopped in. My name is Renee, and today I am working on a canning project, one of my favorite things to do in this winter canning time. And I always tell people I can year-round because there's things I can can now that I'm too busy to do during the summer. So today I had this container of dried whole green peas, and I have garbanzo beans. And I am going to can, not that whole bag. I have some of the garbanzo beans that I put on to soak last night and the whole bag of green peas. This was a, how many ounces? 12 ounces. Now let me show you what they look like now. And I'm going to have to rinse these and bring them to a soft boil. You don't want to boil them hard for 30 minutes before I can can them. Same with the garbanzos. So I'm going to start that process, and I'm going to clean my kitchen and get my jars ready. But I wanted to show you where I'm at now. Oh, that doesn't help. Sorry about that. So these peas I put on last night to soak, and as you can see, there is quite a few now. And they turn out nice and green, and they're much bigger, and they're still hard. So the next step, there's one that's not so green. There's a yellow pea. I'll throw that one in the sink. Let me show you the garbanzo beans. I had to switch these to a larger bowl before I went to bed last night. And there was like this much room, and look at how full these are. This is about 2 pounds. So I'm going to can these, some of them just plain garbanzo beans in water, because I love garbanzo beans in curries and in Indian recipes, and I just love them on my salads. And some I'm going to do that are kind of ready for hummus. They're going to have some seasoning in with them and some garlic already. And I have never done dry green peas before, nor have I ever done garbanzo beans. I've done many other dry beans, but not these two types of legumes. And one of my goals last year, and I've been working on, is to have more vegetables that are shelf stable. You know, not just frozen corn and frozen green beans, but I canned green beans, and I canned carrots, and I canned potatoes, so that I have totally shelf stable meals. So my husband loves canned peas. I like frozen, or I like just eating them as I shell them. I don't always get a lot because I eat too many. But he loves canned peas, so I am going to can peas so we have those as a side dish. So come along and let's start the canning process and all the steps, and I will give you all the directions you need. And thank you so much for joining me. I have the dishwasher running. There it is with my jars. They've been in the basement. I always like to run them through the dishwasher to get them clean. So that's what I have going on right now. I got out my USDA book. I love referring to this for this sort of canning. And I went to where it's peas and beans, shelled and dried, and that's what we're doing today. So the book says to soak them overnight like we did, and then we drain them and put them into a pan with fresh water and bring them to a boil, for 30 minutes. You don't want a hard boil because that will pop the skins. You want it just a nice, slow, low boil. So that's where we're at now. So I'm going to rinse both containers. First the peas and then the garbanzos. There's a lot of garbanzos. And then we'll put them on to cook. And then after that 30 minutes, we come back and we just fill the jars and put hot water in and put them in the canner. And I'm going to do pints, and they get processed for 75 minutes. And I use the weighted gauge. And I'll show you all that as we go along, But first, we're going to rinse and get them back in some fresh water to soak. And you add no salt at this point, no salt. It even says on here to not add salt when you're soaking. Do not add salt to the water. They will not soften. So you don't add salt right now. You want these beans and peas to soften. Hey, here are the peas. And put them in the strainer. Rinse them. They're so pretty. I mean, dried, they weren't this pretty. They were more brownish looking and dull, and I'm just really happy with how they look. And it's amazing. They all fit in this bag. Put them back in the pan. And we'll add water till they're covered by a couple inches. There we go.
Hi, Sparky.
I'm going to put these on the stove.
Good girl.
Now, the garbanzos. Rinse. And if you see any that don't look nice, funky color or something, just pick them out. It happens. Sometimes you'll find a stone. I'm sure that was really loud. So you gotta fill this up with water so it's a few inches above the garbanzo beans. So this one is ready to go on the stove too. So I'm gonna put these both on and bring them to a boil. I am going to peel some garlic right now for the hummus ready garbanzo beans. Because you want the cloves punctured or partially smashed to release the flavor in the jar anyway, so that's the easiest way to get the skin off. That was not. So I'm thinking even these, if I don't want to make hummus out of them, they'd be flavored really nice to go on a salad or even in a curry. Oh, there's Missy wanting back in. Well, I'm going to keep doing this. First, I'm going to go let her in, and I will have these all ready when it's time to go can. Jar up the beans. Here's the peas boiling, and these are boiling. They started to come up, actually. The foam did. They thought they're putting off foam. But I don't have it like a hard boil. And we have 22 minutes. Okay, got 10 minutes left. The dishwasher has stopped. I got my canner out. I got 3 quarts of water in it, and I have it heating up because my jars are going to be warm and the liquid and beans and peas are going to be warm, so we don't want to put it in a cold canner. So I have this heating up. I did my safety check on my lid, made sure that my seal looked good and that the pressure valve release, the emergency release looked good, that the vent pipe was clear. I'm sure you've seen this all before, that this is loose. The seal looks good. I oil it every few times. And I do have a spare, just in case this seal doesn't work. I have a spare that I can swap out. The plug looks good, and then this vent pipe. I can see through it and I can blow through it. I do that every time. I have a shelf in the bottom of this, and here's my other shelf that when I fill the bottom, I can put and then stack more jars on top. I got my lids. I have some wide mouth here too, but I will be using 4-jar canning lids. I have been using them for over a year now, and I truly like them so much. Let me show you one. They have a nice seal in there, nice wide. I don't get any that have any like glitches or mistakes, like where the machine didn't line up. Don't have that. The company is based in Florida, and they're super easy to deal with. So I've got my lids out, and I am now a 4Jars affiliate, and I can give you a 10% discount. I'll have that link down below in the description. And I like that you can order their lids in 100 packs, you know, and you go through them pretty fast if you can much. And the price is great. I have a slotted spoon, and we're going to fill this about 3/4 full. I'm going to leave some room for expansion because I know these peas will expand and soak up more liquid. And just for that pack that I bought of the dried peas was, I think, $1.12. So it was not real expensive. So I'm gonna fill it to there. You can put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt or no salt. I'm gonna put 1/4. I want some salt, but I don't want it excessive. And now we fill with liquid. So I got a ladle. And you can use this cooking liquid. If you wanted, you could add some chicken bouillon to it and flavor it that way. I do some of my vegetables that way. Okay, let's stir. And it touches the top. So now I'm going to dip my paper towel in vinegar, wipe this rim, and put a lid on. It's hot. Do this finger tight. You don't want to crank it just till it stops. And put it in here. And that water is warm now, so there'll be no thermal shock. That's the whole goal anyway. So I'm gonna fill up the rest of these jars. You can do this in quarts. Your processing time is 90 minutes then. You can do 1/2 pints, and then your processing is the same as the pints, which is 75 minutes. Dry beans and peas are the same as meat. So if you wanted to, you could even process some jars of meat at the same time. Okay. Water. Debubble. Then measure, and it's touching the top there. Your debubbler is marked with 1 inch, 3/4, half, and quarter. So it's a real handy tool. You can also just use a ruler that you just keep in your kitchen. Jar number 2. I wasn't sure how many I would get. I know I'm going to have more. I didn't put any salt in that one. Oh well, that's okay. I'll just season it when I open it. There's the salt in that one. I wasn't sure how many jars I would get from that one bag. Okay, so here's the last jar. So it's actually just 3 pints. So if we like these, I know next time to buy a larger bag. Or multiple bags. But I don't mind it being less because your first time, you don't know if you're going to like something. This is going to be some of the hummus ready. I am not putting sesame seeds or tahini in it. I will add tahini when I go to mix it up. You can add toasted sesame seeds, but I don't have any and I didn't want to go to the store, so I found a different recipe. I'm going to put, you can put 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. You can use any seasoning you want. This one recommended a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon pepper. I'm not going to add any salt because my lemon pepper seasoning does have some salt in it. I'm going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. That is not for safety, that is for flavor. You don't need to add lemon juice to the beans. And now, same as we did for the peas, I'm going to fill with garbanzos. Runaway garbanzos. Looks about right, 3/4. Now we add liquid. So if you had different flavors you wanted to add, like cumin, you can add any dry seasonings you would like. Debubble. Measure, needs a little more liquid, just a little bit. And we're good. Wipe the edge, and I saw that there was some of that foamy stuff on this edge. Finger tight. Now I could use these on a salad too. I don't have to puree them up or anything like that. It's just if I want to. Couple of garlic cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of lemon pepper, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and now we add the garbanzos. I really like having dry beans that are canned and ready to use. Now we add the liquid. A little more. debubble. A little more needed. Wipe the rim. Flat, and then finger tight. Okay, I got 4 jars here. I'm going to multitask. Okay, so this is the last of the garlic I had. So if I have any more garbanzo beans left after I fill these 4 jars, it will be plain. Seasoning. Lemon juice. There we go. And now we will fill. Put the lid on that seasoning so I don't, I'm klutzy. I might spill it. I'm not sure if you can buy pre-seasoned in the store. I live in a pretty rural area, and here I've never seen it. I'm fishing around now for them. We're down to the bottom. So there will not be any plain garbanzo beans with this batch. I have still half that bag. Then after debubbling, check to see. Usually they need a little bit more. That one's good. That one needs just a little, and that one's good. So we're all done with the garbanzo beans. Wipe all the edges. And now put the lids on. And the rings. Okay, we have 6 on the bottom here. We have 6 already in here. I'm going to put my shelf on and put the last 4 on top. Now I could have put 1, 2, 3 more probably on the bottom if they were not wide mouth, and these aren't. But whoa, should put the ring on. But this is a little more balanced if I put 4 up here. I'm anxious to see how they, because they look, I mean, I filled them up to here, and then when you put the liquid, the beans get pushed up some, so hopefully there's not too much siphoning. This is an experiment. This is a learning process, and you're learning along with me. Here's my lid. We did the safety check already. So on the Presto, you line up the arrows. Then you twist, and it's locked. So now I'm going to turn the heat up because I had it, you know, on medium low. I turned it up to about 8 now, and I will let it come up. It'll start boiling in there. And once steam is pouring out of this vent pipe, I set my timer for 10 minutes. Not sure if you can see the steam going up. I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes now. Timer went off. And now we put that on. and we wait for it to start to wiggle and do a little hula dance. Timer's going off, so now we turn off the heat and let it just set. So that drops down, the pressure goes to 0. Then I take the weight off and wait 5 minutes. And then I take the lid off and I'll let it adjust to the temperature change. I usually put the lid a little ajar when it's winter time. And then take it off and wait 5 minutes so we can take out the jars and cross our fingers there's no siphoning, or little anyway. Okay, I am going to remove the lid now. Always tilt it away from yourself. Okay. Looks good. I have a mat set up on the counter over there. So here's the first one, and look at that. Dry beans always make me a little nervous if you overfill them too much, but these look really nice. I use this knife to lift that out by one of the holes. The water is clear, except I didn't use the good water. My husband's going to be upset. He likes when he makes good water for me. But here's the peas, and they're not mush.
The jars are all out of the canner. They will have to be washed and the rings taken off tomorrow. There is sediment on the outside from our water. Our water softener isn't working right. So anyway, they will be nice and pretty once they're all washed and put on the shelf downstairs. And I have 10 jars total. They have all sealed and they're boiling away, as you can see. It always fascinates me how it does that. Thank you so much for coming along with me and for watching this. And if you want to see more videos on canning and baking and vintage recipes, subscribe to my channel. See you next time at Pike Creek Farm.